Hello, ladies and
Hey.
gentlemen. We are so excited today on the real estate view. This is our take two. And so we got this under control. I am Mickey, your co host, and I'm joined by the wonderful Kim and amazing Lorraine. Hello, ladies, again.
Hello. We got it right. We got it right this
Hi, everybody.
time. I think our intro or the beginning part of this show really kind of leads us into the key people in our businesses.
Yeah.
Especially when you're doing a podcast, one of the key people in that is a producer.
Yeah.
So yes, there's various components involved in running a business, and you really don't realize how important that person is until they
Until they're
are
not
they're not
there.
there. So yeah, so hopefully that leads us into our conversation today.
Well, I hope
Yes,
everyone's having an awesome week.
Yes.
we are. Already Thursday. Isn't that crazy?
Already the 15th of July, the middle
Like
of the month.
mid July. That's
I
so
can't keep up.
fast. I
I
can't
know.
keep up
I
either.
know.
Yeah.
We're
It's
what? This is
amazing.
third quarter now, right? So
Yes.
3.
everything that we put into place since the beginning of the year is starting to come to fruition now. I know you both have had some really great wins as of recent, and maybe we can get into those a little bit later on in the show. But yeah, it just speaks to when you have certain systems in place, when you have people on your team that are helping you do things. You don't really have to pay attention to time or when
Yeah.
it is or what you're doing because things are sort of running on their own.
Yeah. The ball is running. It's rolling fast.
It's really
And and
So
great.
as Lorraine mentioned, we've been putting some things in motion in Q1 and Q2, but we've actually been working on Q1 and Q2 from Q4 of last year.
Right.
yes.
Right.
So, things, I guess that's why things are moving so quickly for us because we've already had the ball rolling from Q4 of last year. So, it's like a snowball effect. So it starts to move
Mhm.
faster. So time is just running away because we're super, super busy. But
Yeah.
that's a good thing. But that's
I
really
feel
good.
like it's a momentum. Like we're in the momentum. Like this all this building up and now it's just like rushing and like
Yeah.
things are happening fast. So Kim, who is one of the most important key players in your company? Or people
Well,
that you do business with?
I want to say my business partner, Jean, is a key player in our business, but I think it kind of varies from week to week because the business kind of fluctuates. So
Yes.
there are certain weeks where you need something, or
Mhm.
you're doing something where you need a different key player for that particular, venture. So this week, since we're closing on a couple of properties, our attorney has been our key player this week because without your attorney to sort through those documents to make sure that your paperwork is in order, you're protected, the business doesn't go anywhere. You got to make sure that you have your
Absolutely.
attorney. So yeah, we relied heavily on our attorney this week, and also some of our friends that we've made through networking along the way, who've been able to fill in the gaps when we didn't have the answers to certain questions. We've been able to do that. So yeah, friends are key players, and attorneys for this week.
And also like kind of piggybacking on that point, attorneys can also be a source of leads, right? I mean, depending
Mhm.
on what their specialty is and what they're working with on a day-to-day basis, they could even provide you with like, oh, I have this client who's potentially going through X, Y, and Z situation. Can you help them? So I think both of those are great components or great pieces to have as part of your business.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially like a probate attorney. If you have a great
Yes.
relationship with a probate attorney, you can definitely have get referrals in that aspect. To help those sellers who have lost a loved one and need to get their properties taken care of. So
Mhm.
probate attorneys are pretty amazing to have relationships with.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love one of the key players in our business are the wholesalers in our area that I network with. I love them because once you get to know who are really the good ones, then they get to provide you leads without you making, because I mean, let's face it, cold callings, all of that is great when you have the time for it. But when you
Right.
don't have the time for it and like, things are moving fast, you love to work with people that are doing it, that it's part of their business. And
Mhm.
so for us, like we really love working with our wholesalers. And like Kim, you were saying, like, they feed you the leads. It's great. The relationship is there. Those are people that you can count on. So they're just part of our business at this point.
And
Yeah.
Nikki, and I think we know, or we're all familiar with what a wholesaler is, or
Yes.
what they do. But maybe, if you wouldn't mind, like elaborating a little bit, like what is a wholesaler? What do they do? How do they fit into the whole piece of
All
the
right.
deal?
So in our business, well, in the real estate world, you
Yeah.
have the realtor who sells a property, right? That is in relation with the seller and will list the house. But then sometimes you might not go the route of listing your property that way on the MLS. And so you have the others as commissioner or people that will come, and this is their job. We call them wholesaler, meaning that they will sell the property for you for a fee which you will agree on, and it's the end buyer, who is usually a company like us, that will buy the property from the wholesaler. So the wholesaler will have the contract, an assignment contract, where they have the right to sell the contract.
Right.
So it's not them buying the property from you, the seller, the seller, yes, but it's them selling the contract. So it's a different way of selling your house, but it's very, very doable, and it's a faster way, meaning that those wholesalers, they tap into their investor network. So we close, you close faster. There's less viewing. There's no need. Most of the time, you don't have to fix your property. It's always as is. So there's advantages of working with those wholesalers. So we
Yeah.
love working with them.
Yeah. Because wholesalers, most of them don't do rehabs. You
Mhm.
They
know,
don't. They
Mickey
don't.
and I, we kind of we like doing rehabs. So what a wholesaler essentially does is, they'll find properties that we want to work on because they
Mhm.
they don't want to work on them, and then they'll ultimately pass it on to us, and we do the rehabs.
Yes.
I was
So
gonna
they're pretty
say,
essential.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was gonna basically say they're like the middle person. So when if
They
you if
are.
you have a business who where like you mentioned, Mickey, where maybe you just have so many different activities going on that you don't have time to do cold calling or send out direct mail, postcards and letters to try to find the deals. If you have a great wholesaler on your team, this person is going out and finding you the properties and essentially bringing you just like a nicely wrapped deal
Like
where
a
you can
present.
decide a nicely wrapped present where you can decide whether or not you want to move forward with the project or not. So I would agree that a good wholesaler, because
Yeah.
we have all experienced our fair share, but a good wholesaler who knows what they're doing and who understands what you're looking for in your business can be a great asset to a real
Yes.
estate investing business.
And
Absolutely.
to go back to what Mickey said about, not wanting to cold call, you know and ask having virtual assistants on your team
Mm.
to
Yes.
do the tasks of making the cold calls, though they are assets as well. So I mean, I would say
Absolutely.
they are strong team players
Yes.
because they do the things that we really don't have time to do, and
Yes.
which is calling people.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Kim, you are basically, you yourself are a key player to most businesses because you wear a realtor hat as well. And so I know real estate agents or realtors are definitely a key
They are.
piece within
Mm.
business, especially within real estate businesses, because not only can they just provide you with like area knowledge. What I mean by that is they can tell you what's going on in this neighborhood, how
Right.
much prices are going for, how quickly are things selling. They can give you basically the lay of the land. in terms of what's happening in a particular area. But then they can also bring the other aspect of your deal. They can bring you
Yes.
a buyer, or they can bring you a contractor, or a title company, or whoever. So and that really, realtors are one of the key aspects of my business as well. When I'm dealing with note investing, a lot of times it's going to be properties that are outside of my location or outside of my state.
Mhm.
And so I'm not going to be going to every single property that's out of state to see what the condition of the property is, or what the area is like. So I will reach out to a realtor, and you basically use their expertise or lean on their knowledge to know what's going on in a particular market. So I would definitely say, and then with Kim being both hats, she's a
Yes.
realtor and she's an investor. So she's providing value for a lot of different people out there. But I would say realtors are definitely
Realtors,
key
definitely.
key
Yes.
players.
I wanted to say, on the finance side,
Mm,
we like we love our lenders. So we work with three, and for different project, because some of them, are for a smaller scale project, and then you have those one that will lend you more money. So you kind of need a little diversity of lenders, but we love them because it's so, like, you have so much power when you can tell someone that, hey, I can actually close on your property because I have the money, or I have the connection, and that person, will close, will bring the money to the table. So those are like very, very strong relationship that we've built
mhm.
over time, and they are like, we won't be on business if it wasn't for our lenders.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, just to give a rundown, I mean, the different types of key players that, if you're just starting out in the business and you're wondering who you should have on your team, you should have, obviously, start off with a mentor, because they're
Yeah.
going to guide you every step of the way, in this business. You want to have a mentor, you have to have a CPA.
Mm.
Oh,
Keep
yes.
the money in check.
And stay in compliance. You don't want the IRS coming.
Exactly. You have your attorneys, the banking relationship, you have your insurance, you have your hard money lenders, your
Mhm.
private money lenders, if you're doing rehabs and such, you have your contractors, subcontractors, if you're going to be, managing your own projects. And of course, like Lorraine said, you have your real estate agents, because, you with real estate agents and wholesalers, but the two of them combined, you'll have a steady flow of deals.
Yep.
Oh, yes. So
Yep.
powerful. So,
Yeah.
so powerful. So I
Yeah.
think it's important to, just like have some goals of like meeting one or two realtor per weeks,
Yes.
because there's many of them. Some of them have more experience with working with investors. Some of them, have their specific niche. And also, the more realtors and it's just more leads that are going to come to you. And
Mhm.
have take their email addresses so that you can have them on a mailing campaign, so that they know that you're active in your market. So yes,
You're
build.
active in the market. Your videos on social media.
Yes.
If you have a YouTube channel, definitely, put that out there, so these realtors can see that you are active. And yeah, you know what? I saw her doing a rehab, and she took this dusty old basement and turned it into something magical and beautiful. I think she's the right person for this project, and they'll reach out to you.
They will. They will. Like, we've had several experiences where the realtor, we call that pocket listing, meaning that they're listing this property, but it's not yet on MLS. And so they're calling you to see if you are interested in buying it, because it's less work for them and they know that you're going to close on it.
Those are
So
the
it's a
best
win-win.
leads.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
are the best, because now once you've already built that rapport with a realtor who's consistently sending you pocket listings, or listings that haven't been advertised to everyone else, now you're cutting down on more of your competition, and that
Oh,
gives
yes.
you a greater likelihood of being able to stand out to other people who you could help as well. I mean, if you're consistently being visible in the market, your credibility is going to increase with the clients that you want to work with as well. So yeah, pocket listings, those are great. And another thing
Absolutely.
that I wanted to kind of mention is maybe for some people who are listening and they might not know how to find these people. Like, how do you
Oh,
find these
yes.
influencers? What do you do? And Kim, you had brought up a really great point in the beginning of this call about friends,
Yeah.
and friends kind of tie into our sphere of influence, right? So if
Mhm.
we don't really have these people readily available, or we might not know that we have them readily available, sometimes it's helpful to talk to your friends or
Mhm.
talk to people that you interact with, and like, do you know a good CPA, or do you know a good contractor that works in this particular area? Because not only is it putting your friends and family on notice of what you're doing, that you're involved with real estate, but they might know somebody who knows someone else who knows someone else, right? That's, what is it, the six, is it called 6 degrees of
No
separation or
separation.
something like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So so I would lend that as an option for maybe if you're wondering, like, okay, well, I want to get involved with business and I know I need these people on my team, but I just don't know where to find them. Sometimes starting with the people that you do know already can help.
Yeah, and then leveraging, different Facebook groups and your networking groups. You
Yes.
know, if anybody is new and wondering, where to go, just go to Facebook.
Yeah.
Type in
Absolutely.
any kind of local, networking group in your area, and a ton of them will come up. And you
Yep.
just join those groups and interact with the people in the groups, and you'll be able to find just about all of the answers to any question you have. Not saying that it's going to be the right answer. It may not be the right answer, but you'll get a starting point.
You will. And I find that, those groups, people are actually, it's non-threatening, right? Like if
Yeah,
you write a question there, like it's non-threatening. So most of the time, people that will answer you are genuinely giving you the answer that they think. So
yeah,
it's not that, they want to induce you in error or anything. It's just what they're thinking. So there's nothing personal into that. It's just how it is. But it's a very, very powerful resource to
Yeah.
find, to make contacts and, just make new friends.
yeah.
I'm continuously surprised by how helpful people are on Facebook.
Yes, they
I
are.
don't know, like, you'll post, you can join these, and there's a group for everything. Like, literally, if you have an idea, I'm pretty sure someone has designed a Facebook group around it. So you join these groups and you pose a question, obviously keeping or adhering to the group's rules, but
Yes.
asking questions in certain groups, you generally have people who really want to help, or have had a situation that they've gone through that's similar, that can lend some advice. So I would definitely agree with Facebook as a way, as crazy as it sounds, as a way to kind of network and get those people on your team as well.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, and going back to getting those key players on your team, when you bring on those key players, it kind of affords you a better quality of life, because you're not the lone wolf anymore. You're not doing everything by
Yes.
yourself. It allows you to focus on something that you're good at. Like if you're good at talking to sellers, you bring somebody on who can handle all of the paperwork, all of the spreadsheets, because I suck at spreadsheets. I'm not good at the spreadsheets. You guys know I stay away from the keyboard. So,
Me too. Me too. Me too.
so yeah, I'll talk to the sellers, I'll get on the phone and talk, but you bring on the key players, so this way, it can afford you a way to do the things that you like to do, that you specialize in.
I mean, just think of how cool it sounds when you're like, I have my people get in contact with your people, because you actually have people. You have key
Yes.
players on your team. So that's really what we aim to do. Not only, as Kim mentioned, just basically taking things off of our plate so we can do more income producing
Mhm.
activities, but also just having a team in place, I think, builds your credibility. Because you think about, I don't know what's a good example, but you don't have the CEO of KFC coming down and frying up the
And
chicken
frying
and
the
taking
chicken, right?
orders.
Exactly.
There are people who are delegated to do certain things, so that he or she, excuse me, as the CEO, can now run the company. And that's essentially what we're building on our ends as well, so that we can get to those, we can scale the business to get to those different levels.
It's really about keeping what it's yours, right?
Mhm.
Keeping the things that as your brain, your attention, your specific gift for that, what is yours needs to stay yours and needs to be your focus so that you grow that thing because no one else can do it
Right.
but you.
Right.
And so I think this leads us into mentorship and coaching. I meet a lot of people that don't, I say, not that they don't necessarily believe in coaching, but I think that they don't see the value of it. I think it's more like that. Like people don't see that coaching is so essential to business, no
Mhm.
matter what level you are. Like, if someone is playing basketball, don't you think they have a coach?
Yep.
Like, those
Of
teams,
course.
they always have a coach.
Yep.
And I remember, like, Michael Jordan, until his last game, had his coach with him.
Yep.
And I'm just thinking, like, why are we so, like, not smart, but, in that range? Like, no, why are we thinking that we can go without a coach?
It's
Like,
stubborn. It's stubbornness. But
Yes.
then I'll also piggyback on that by saying, and using the Michael Jordan example, he had a coach up until
The
his last
game.
playing days, but that doesn't mean that coach was teaching him how to play basketball, right?
Exactly.
This coach was focusing on certain aspects of his game for
Mm.
where he was at that moment. And
Right.
you can take that same example into business. You don't have when you're 5-10 years into your business, you don't have to still have a coach to teach you how to start a business.
No,
But
no.
maybe that coach is telling you how to scale or how to change up some policies or what have you, whatever applies to your business at that time. But just to kind of emphasize the point that Mickey, that you were making, it's that yes, a coach or a mentor is essential and is a key player in your business, not only to show you some different things that you might not have experienced in your business thus far, but just for me personally, a coach is important just for mindset. I mean, as an
Oh, yes.
entrepreneur, you go through so many different peaks and valleys that having someone who's been there, done that, or can
Mhm.
hear your challenges from a different perspective can really help you kind of move past some obstacles that you may be going through. So just wanted to kind of mention that point really quick.
Kim, can you share, like, because I know we all work with coaches, so we're just sharing our journey here. But Kim, have you seen any difference, like when you work with a coach and when you don't work with a
Oh,
coach?
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, we've been we've been working on the business and we started, from Q4. So that was all from coaching, you know. Would we have known to do that prior to having a coach? No, because
No.
you work in the moment. When you don't know how to run a business, you work, you're just working in the moment. So having a coach to guide you every step of the way definitely makes a difference. And when we're seeing the difference now. We're in July, yes. So 7 months later, yes, we're definitely seeing the difference of having a coach implemented into our business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I love what you're sharing, the fact that it's 7 months later, right? I think that in our society, we love instant gratification.
That's right.
Like, hey,
Yep.
I got the coach, and so here are the deals. But that's not how life works, right? Like, you don't get in shape into 1 or 2 days. Those are like compound effect that needs to
Mhm.
happen
Blame
by
the
doing
internet.
the small, constant work that your coach is going to give you, right? And that you are going to follow through because remember, you're paying that person also. So might as well do the work. And so if you're compliant to the plan, things will work out. Like
Yeah.
it has to work.
Mm-hmm.
It's about consistency and accountability.
Yeah.
If you're consistent and you're being held accountable, because you got to answer to this coach every week or whenever your sessions are, what did you do this week? If you haven't worked on the action items that we discussed last week, where do you think your business is going to go? So yeah, it's all about accountability and being consistent.
Yeah. You can have the pieces in place, but if you aren't efficiently or effectively using those tools, then it's not going to help you. So to both of your points, having a coach there is great if they're part of your team, but if you're not actively working with your coach to improve whatever situation it is that you're looking to improve, it's not going to help you. You can buy a car, but it's not going to go anywhere unless you drive it. So
Exactly.
you have to take it, you have to know what it is you need and why you need it, and then how to use it.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
So
And so, closing that team player, I think coaches are like indispensable. And so if you have, no matter the amount of money that you're making and all, just set some money aside for that to happen in your company, in your business. And mostly when you're starting, please go ahead and have someone that will guide you along the way.
Yeah, and if not for
So
yourself
much.
only, for the rest of the people that are in your business, because
Yes.
a coach is not only there to help one individual. They can be there to help the entire team,
Right.
because you can't run a business alone. You can, but it's better if you don't run a business alone, because it can drive you crazy.
Yes. And I think, if anyone, we're going to have actually a really great coach and mentor on our show next week. And I think one of the conversations that we'll probably get into is she's probably going to speak about the importance of coaching, and actually her being a coach and a mentor. I'm sure she has one as well, and what that relationship and how that has helped her to become an even better coach and mentor.
Yes.
So definitely excited for next week's conversation as we kind of continue what we're speaking about today on the importance of team players, and in particular coaches and mentors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, we kind of touch on a lot of different things every time we get on the air. It kind of sounds like we're talking about, because all these things come into play, like they all
They do.
feedback off of each other. And in order to make the business work, a real estate business, you have to have all the aspects. So coaching is definitely one of those things that I know that we've talked about in the past, but it's an ongoing thing. It's not something that you just do one time and like, oh, I don't need a coach anymore. It's ongoing.
It's ongoing.
Yeah.
And if we recap a little bit, the important team players, we talked about realtors, those agents, key players in your business, wholesalers, key players,
Attorneys.
attorneys, yes.
And we didn't really touch upon this, and I know this is really heavy in your wheelhouse, Mickey, but contractors. I mean, especially if you're a rehabber, the challenge sometimes in finding a really good contractor is key. So I definitely think that they are key players, and there's so many more. And I think we'll probably revisit this topic again in a later episode, because just in this half an hour that we've been talking, we identified 3 or 4.
Many of them, yes.
Yeah, and that's what I said. It all depends on what you need and what you're going through in that particular week. Who that key player is going to be, but it's always good to have them there.
Yes, exactly.
You never know when you're going to need them.
You need to have those relationships pre-established, right?
Yeah.
Before that.
Yep.
And so I want to say to our listeners, like, if you have any questions, you can always reach to us. Lorraine, Kim, and I are always open to answer your questions. And if you have topics that you want us to explore further, we'll be more than happy to share it with other listeners or public.
Absolutely. So until next time, hopefully we get everybody tunes in next week for our next discussion at 4:00 every Thursday.
Yes.
And know your why.
Know your heart.
And know your purpose. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.